All right, today we're going to talk about warning signs of a vindictive personality. Warning signs of a vindictive personality? It would be a personality trait, right? Being vindictive. What do you think it's a personality trait? Well, it's behavior. Well, it's certainly a behavior. I've dealt with a few in my lifetime, and I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with vindictive people out there. And warning signs are really tough, I think, with vindictive people because usually you don't really see that because you're friends with a person until you're not. And then that's when you really see the true character of somebody, is when all that comes out. A lot of times you think, well, God, you just go your separate ways and no big deal. Well, usually that's the case, but not with vindictive people, because the thing with vindictive people is they feel wronged and they are now going to strike out and maliciously attack you in any way that they can when it's not even related to maybe the situation. But they're not going to own any of that. Instead, they're going to take personal attack on you for whatever you did that they think wronged them, right? Well, in this case here, which I'm going to focus on, is it was a difference of opinion. But I wanted to share kind of quickly, like, with how to detect that, because I really believe the signs are there. Because vindictive people just don't automatically become vindictive. They live their life this way. It's a behavior. And so if they're not getting their way, then they, instead of just walking away from it, they literally have to find ways to attack people, and they find ways to do it to hurt them. Whether it's a financial hurt, it's a personal hurt, it's relationship hurts. And if they have an avenue to go at you, if you are in business, then they're going to go after you and attack your business. Say you're just, it's not even business related. I mean, what it is basically is they just go after you, period, right? And there's so many different ways to do that. They could send the Jehovah Witnesses to your home. They can have a pile of shit delivered to your front door, have things delivered to you. They could use your email address and really go to town on you. They could destroy your credit. I mean, these are all vindictive ways to hurt people where it just will seem to get out of control. And the signs with that, and I bring up signs because they are there, and it's really paying attention to people that you trust or involved within a relationship, and then things go wrong, things go bad, and you go your separate ways, and you think, why did I not see that? I mean, it was all really pretty clear. And with this situation, it was clear to me, but I will share quickly that with this person, and I'm not going to use their name, we're just going to use it, because it was not really a friend. There was some involvement with this person because there was something I was doing that served them and favored them. And so we were just Facebook friends, and that was really pretty much it. What I did know, and probably the reason why I never got too close to this person, is because I already saw the pattern with her in the past with how she attacked other people when somebody questioned her authority or questioned what she was doing. And it would come down to a Buy Nothing group where she was admin for a Buy Nothing group, and there was a difference of opinion how something was being handled. And instead of having an adult conversation and talking about it like that, no, the person was blocked, and then it decided to attack and go after this person's business. The point of this video is really, I would like for you to watch this and understand that there's a lot of vindictive people out there. And if you can kind of pick up on some of the signs, then I think that'll be a good guard for you to understand that maybe it's best to not get involved with this person, because chances are, if you have a difference of opinion, then they're going to strike out at you one way or another. And if you say aren't working, I mean, they're going to find a way. And one thing I do know that is very repetitive with this person is that she loves to call CPS on people. And she uses that. It's incredibly hurtful to these young girls that have kids. And also, I believe that would be, what, fraud? Or, yeah, I mean, there's seriously got to be a problem with doing a false report on something. And so with how she kind of targeted me was we had a difference of opinion, and that was really all it was. And it was no big deal. But she made it a big deal. And she really made it a big deal because she really stuck with this Nazi thing. But how it kind of started was a difference of opinion. And then, but before I could even talk about it, I was blocked. But she didn't just block me, she went and blocked other people that were associated with me that had nothing at all to do with that so-called conversation. She had read my book, I Will Never Know. And the first review, after reading it, she did a 5-star and said, great read. And she really did a really great review. And I knew, I don't know, I just felt it in my bones because I knew that this is how this person would be. Instead of just saying, okay, I don't want to associate with her anymore, she has to take it to the extreme and just strike out and just start attacking all the books that I wrote. So she goes and she removes the 5-star. And, and I was like, really? I mean, it had nothing to do with the book, but it was her point of saying like, hey, I'm going to go hurt her for what she's doing with her books. So she does this great 5-star, and actually she does mention a couple negatives, but they're really minor. It's no big, huge deal that she says, a couple typos, and, you know, but then again, the positive, it's fast-paced. It wasn't immediately from the first page. I couldn't put it down. Great book, right? Great book. Well, after I noticed that the 5-star review was gone, I did a post on Facebook saying, really? I mean, who does that, right? It's like an Indian giver. You giveth, you taketh. Well, so then, of course, she couldn't handle that. And then, of course, from the video I did too. But so, like, okay, I'll go on and do a 1-star then. Well, no, I can't do a 1-star. I got to at least give a 2-star. And then, you know what she said? She goes on and she puts it up first under her name and then realizes, oh, I shouldn't have my name attached to this. So she then removes her name from it and goes on as an Amazon reviewer. And then she says, previously gave seller a 5-star review because I thought we were friends. I thought they were a friend and didn't want to drag them with a low-star rating. The story around TNR and the cats is good. The book has a lot of potential, but needs to go undergo massive editing due to grammar, punctuation, typos, past, present switches, telling, not showing, confusing character switches, etc. And then she goes in to make it incredibly personal on this review, which Amazon let up there. But before I read the rest of it, I'm going to straight up right here. Now, who does this too as a friend? So she's saying she gave me a 5-star review because we're friends. What kind of friend is that? I mean, I don't want a friend giving me a 5-star if they didn't like the book. That's not a friend. A friend to me is somebody who says, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you it needs work. You have a lot of grammatical issues in it. It needs some work. But the story was outstanding. Whatever. I mean, be critical in your thinking with that and not give me a 5-star just because we're friends. I mean, that's really bullshit to me. Because my friends out there, actually, a lot of them don't even like doing reviews, but I mean, they're going to give me what is deserving in their mind and their opinion of the book. But her saying that right there is like huge to me, was saying, we thought we were friends. Please spare me with that bullshit. And then, because we weren't friends, I removed a previous review because I didn't want to associate with the seller in any way after a disagreement. Now I'm going to tell you what the disagreement is because I think it needs to be told. And it wasn't even a disagreement. It was over the Elon Musk salute. And she had made a post about it, and all I said was everybody looks at it in a different light. That's all I said. And before I had a chance to respond back to that, she had blocked me. That's what it's all about. Okay, this all originated from that one post. That's it. which is my right to do so as a consumer. And of course, you can remove the review. But this is what's distrustful about her already, is to do a 5-star, remove it altogether, and then go up and do a 2-star. So this is where the vindictive part is with her. And
do you have any documented proof that it was actually her?
well, sure, because she did it the first time as with her name. So it's the exact same review with her name, and then she removed her name. So that's all she did. She didn't want the record of it. So, so yes, I do have proof that this is actually from it that made this review. And this was on my book, I Will Never Know. And it started with that book, which is a true story. But where does the vindictive part come in? Well, sure, it's vindictive in a way for her to go and drop a 5-star to a 1-star or 2-star. But what really is vindictive is when she goes behind the scenes with a couple of her friends, which I'm sure aren't even friends either, and starts out right away with, long posts like this, and this went on and on. Well, I'm going to go hit my vape like it's a pacifier, which is she can go get stoned, and then she's going to go annihilate all of my reviews. That's it right there. And there's where she's soliciting her 2 friends in the world to go and do bad reviews on all my books for people that didn't even read them. And I do believe the one girl did, but then again, she's still in favor of that. But I'm only going to stick with it. We're not going to go into the other ones. So it couldn't stop there. So then she immediately, the newest book I released, Akita, immediately slammed into that with a 1-star review. And then I've written 6 books, and she has now literally gone to every one of them, and every one of them is stating the same thing, that it's really bad grammar, punctuation, and all that stuff, where apparently the first time she read it, there was no problem. It wasn't a huge deal for her at all. She caught a few typos, but now it's the whole damn book is just shit. When she ended up blocking me, then she decided to block my other friends I told you. And again, these are people that really never knew her any more than I knew her. But there was that association with me. So she probably felt like, oh, I need to block them. I don't know. I can't understand her thinking with that. But one of my friends literally had talked about how she would talk about how we were like so best friends. Like basically my friend, I'll leave names out of it, a real friend, had said she had her head right up my ass. I mean, I was just the greatest of all greatness. Loved my videos, loved everything I did with Jessica Stewart, calling her out, wanted to, help with everything, loved my books. And then the minute we have this little disagreement, then it's like, wow, it's like I am shit to be shit. And that's where the vindictive part to me really does come in, is when people start talking on that level, don't you think? So what she does is she ends up unblocking one of these friends of mine because she wants to get in on her side. So she ends up sending her a personal message. And in this personal message, like, and trust me, this friend wanted nothing to do with any of this. And I don't blame any of them because they had nothing to do with it. but she literally is going off about, she's basically calling me a Nazi lover and a sympathizer with Nazi sympathizers, or, so she doesn't want to associate with Nazis. I was like, are you kidding me? Seriously.
Just for the sake of it, are you a Nazi? Do you support Nazi?
Do I support Nazis?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Then you are not a Nazi.
No.
Okay.
But I shouldn't even have to justify that.
Well, now, but you've clarified it for everyone else.
Right. But the funny thing is that anybody that is an actual friend of mine knows me and knows that of me. And what I do is question things when nobody else can handle that shit, right? They're just going to believe everything they see on TV or on YouTube and all that shit instead of questioning stuff. And it was really that simple. But to have her go after my friend, and on top of that, this friend of mine is Jewish. So she is really trying to pump it up to her, I want to say her name, but I won't. that I'm a Nazi to my Jewish friend. So, and then she's calling it harassment. And I want to be very, very fucking clear on this one. What it is doing here is not harassment, because she's not threatening my life or threatening my well-being. What she is doing is trying to hurt and attack my business. Now, and she's probably smart enough to know to not cross the harassment line, because there would be problems with that. So it is exactly what we do stand for. And what I stand for is our freedom of speech. And I've always said that with the reviews. But this right here, as you can tell, I mean, obviously, it's not even a valid review. It's just her being vindictive to hurt my book sales, and then also to hurt my YouTube channel. And if you want to come at me on this level, it just shows what kind of a piece of shit you are. And I can say that because guess what? That's how I feel about you. You don't have to like me, and I don't have to like you. That's just the way the world works. You want to fuck with someone's livelihood, though, it could get pretty ugly. And because I don't make a whole lot of money on these books anyway, and plus I know most people are going to read through this and read how fucking personal it is, and that obviously you got a problem. So I'm not really concerned about it. On the YouTube level, these people are blocked from my YouTube as far as being able to comment. And the reason I did that is because it goes nowhere. This is the never-ending bullshit with these people. Is they're going to constantly come back and come back and come back, and they will never ever take any responsibility for anything. And with the YouTube, which I thought was really quite hilarious, is I've been a producer for over 30 years and done a lot of weddings, commercials, and all that. And we were hired to do a Sweet 16 birthday party, and I produced a great video. They had hired a band, Telescope, and they were awesome. And I had this all edited up to a music video. It was an awesome video. So I have this video, and then I don't know, maybe even almost a year ago, I did a video on boobs, just strictly boobs. And everybody that was in the video, that I used in the video, are actual big-breasted friends of mine that all gave me permission to use their boobs on YouTube. And YouTube approved it. YouTube didn't have any problem with my boobs video. And but apparently it did. And it went on and reported the boob video because I talked about filming at a birthday party for a 16-year-old. And the 16-year-old did not give me consent to talk about her boobs.
How would this person know that?
She doesn't know that. And I mean, she doesn't know anything about my line of work or my business. So let me tell you what that's all about. I'm a video producer. I ran my own video production company, which means anybody that hires me to film for them signs a contract with me, which gives me full right to use that footage for whatever I want to use it for. They sign that right away. And it's the parent that signs that right away. But not only that, the boobs were in the original video I did, and the mother and the daughter loved it. I mean, they loved it. It was a great video. She was a 16-year-old, big, busted 16-year-old. But in their little behind-the-scenes chat, it's like, oh my God, Schelli put up a video. The 16-year-old didn't consent. What kind of person does that? Oh, and then it says, I never, ever would have trusted her to do the video on Jessica Seward. Well, guess what? It wasn't even about you. It was about Jessica Seward, who really is a piece of shit. Well, I'm starting to think there's a lot of commonality here. And it didn't start with you. It started with other people that had an interest in calling out Jessica as a scammer. So, but this is behind the scenes. And which really cracks me up too, is all this talk behind the scenes. What does that do to me? I mean, of course, I had somebody sending me this information, so I was privy to it. But outside of that, I never would have seen it. But what I do see is what I know is that they're getting to mark every single book, do bad reviews. But the good thing is she doesn't have that many friends, so I don't have to worry about it getting too out of control. And then with YouTube, I could just block her. And the other thing is, really, it's just the understanding that I don't feel harassed at all. What I have found with this is I found a very vindictive person that obviously needs to find a hobby outside of destroying other people's lives, because she just chose to block me and wanted me to go running to her to apologize for what? No, I'm sorry. It's not like you're the person I grew up with, my best friend forever. No. I really certainly don't owe you anything or an explanation. If you want to put me in that little bubble, then that's in your head, because that's not at all who I am. And what I notice a lot with this person is that they literally would trash other people and pull it into this group that I once was a part of and want us all to focus on trashing that person too. There was a lady on this Buy Nothing group, and it got kicked off of there. And she made it her mission now to destroy this lady. And these are two different free groups that she's attacked the admins on. But what she does is she pulls in all these people and starts doing all this stuff and laying it out where they do not take any responsibility for anything. I mean, like literally, it is everybody else's fault, never my fault, never my problem. And I think that's a huge sign. If somebody can't, if you were to call it out, and I believe I did on the one girl, I said something like, I don't want any part of that. And right away she turns it, now you've become that enemy because you're not supporting her mission to bring that person down. So it's somebody that's really always, I think, always finding fault in everybody else but herself. Things that maybe she needs to work on. It's everybody else's problem, I think, is a big sign, which is a lot of people, right? But if you're seeing that, how she's attacking these people, and you're reading that as a friend.
Or he.
Or he, right? I mean, if you know that, if they're saying, oh, I called CPS on her 3 times, it's like, whoa, man, really? For what? It's really questioning this person, their behavior. And if you're in this relationship and you see these patterns, then that is a huge red flag, I think, that this person, if you do not side with them, then they're going to get vindictive on you. And it's just having that awareness. Because you're never going to be able to call them out with it. Because the minute you were to walk over and try to have a face-to-face, they'll call the police on you. And then they're always the ones, too, to be like, I'm going to call the police for harassment. I'm going to call the police for this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So there's no there's no way to communicate with any of these people. And it's really best to just cut ties as quick as you can. Don't get too invested in it, right? I mean, that's kind of how I would look at it. And it was on my phone. It was something she had said to the girl when the girl had said, I don't want any part of this. It has nothing to do with me. And she's like, well, I was just telling you my side of the story, and now I know who you really are. And she like turned it right over on her. Now this girl too has her own business. And that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of these people aren't coming out, is because they don't want her fucking with their business. But this speaks to a lot of people, not just one person in particular. And looking at your behavior, period, if you're that way, but also knowing when somebody strikes out and does that to you. And I tell you what you do about it, you do nothing. Because you can't file any kind of injunction on something like this, because it's not really harassment. It's not. It's a personal strike. And the people like this, they love it. I mean, they love the drama, and they like to keep it going. And they like to be the better, the smarter, the more educated in their stuff. And they're always going to be better than you. So if you keep it going, they will continue to attack and keep it going, period. It'll never, ever end until you end it. And that's what you need to do. Just end it. And that's what I'm doing. I am done. Okay, so before I go, my next podcast is going to be about my book, Dakita. I just finished a book called Dakita, and it's fiction. Do you know what fiction means? It means it's not true. It's
like all that made up shit.
yeah, like all my reviews, they're fiction. They're not true. And this cracks me up. So this, at the end of one of the reviews was, obviously, I really feel like these people, anyway, okay, so at the end of this review was blatant themes of things that I can't name because the review would be rejected. For my book, I Will Never Know. This is about my I Will Never Know book. And that's where they attacked first, because it's a true story. These include remarks on the ethnicity of characters and things they do. Seemingly stereotypes.
I don't recall any of that in there.
And I Will Never Know?
Yeah.
You don't. Describing potential characters of autism as not having much education. Okay, let me be real clear on this one, because this is really personal to these people, because they have autistic children. And they think everything revolves around autism, and that every time anything that comes out of someone's mouth that they're criticizing autistic people. And that really came down to Elon Musk as well. There was a huge personal thing with Elon Musk that people were saying he's autistic. And in my book, when I say they don't have much education, one time I was talking about Mr. Illiterate across the street, who is illiterate, who has not much education. The other time is when the cop came out and told me they weren't educated on feral cats in Arizona, and I mentioned that they are not educated. They're not autistic, they're just not educated. And then describing a person as it. Well, guess what? That's where we're at with that. But the best part of this review was the interesting use of 2 exclamation marks. Oh my goodness! How dare I be so dramatic? Throughout the book, sometimes featured multiple times on the same page. Oh my God. I had no idea this was commonly used. Well, you know what? Yeah, you can use as many exclamation marks as you choose. Guess why? Why? Because it's my book and it's fiction, and I can use as many as I want, just like in this video. So, exclamation marks. This is petty bullshit, right? It is. So, petty, petty, petty. Exclamation marks is all about drama, drama, drama. And that's what fiction is. So, exclamation mark.